going to do a few laps of honour, and then they're going to park up, we have a bit of a chat about each one of them. Now the Land Rover Mark did start off where it was simply known as the Land Rover in 1946. And it was built as a temporary stopgap measure, headed by a bloke called Maurice Wilkes, who actually passed the project on to another fellow called Tom Barton, an 86-inch. That was made a few years later. Now that was actually had one of the later petrol engines fitted. They started off with a 1600 side valve petrol engine. That one's got the more recent 2 1/4 petrol engine to make it more practical. It actually tows the caravan down the motorway from Dewsbury to the show. There's that one. Now next we've got the little air portable Land Rover there, and that was purely built for military purposes. Followed by the Series 3 ambulance. Now overnight they went from the 86-inch and the 107-inch wheelbases up to the 88 and the 109-inch wheelbases. Nobody actually knew why. Land Rover just did it, but secretly they were developing a diesel engine for the Land Rover, and to do that they needed to make everything a little bit longer. So overnight they went from the 86-inch to the 88. I will talk about 86 and 88. That's the inches between the wheelbase, so between the wheel centres. Now it's great to see these sit in the corner of the showground. Yeah, we can go up and have a look at them, and it's wonderful. But it's great to see one in the arena, because once they're set up, it takes a little bit of time to get them mobile again. So it's great that we can see this Series 3 109. I believe this is known as a Carawagon, and it was basically a company that bought Land Rovers that took them into their workshop. And Discoveries or Range Rovers sprint across to your motor and take it into the arena. So I want to see as many of the varied vehicles that they said, what's this engine doing out here? Well, it's no good. So Land Rover took it on and made a wonderful success of the Rover V8 engine, which did start off from one of Buick's cast-off engines. So they must have been listening, and everybody's very kindly sprinted across to their motors, because here they are. The Range Rover, the Freelander, and the Discovery. 3 vehicles, especially the Freelander and the Discovery, that did pull Land Rover out of the pool in the late 1980s and late 1990s. Now somewhere, young boys should be kicking around. So I'm going to start off. Otherwise, when he tried to take the back wheel off my tractor the other day. Now, you'll see the bluey, greeny coloured Land Rover at the top there, sounding extremely ratty. And once again, that's got the Rover V8 in there, and that's known as a hybrid, very, very roughly based on the air portable or the lightweight Land Rover. No doubt it will have 1980s on a G-plate, 1989. Very much got Land Rover out of the pool in a bit of a demand. Having a few sales problems, so they devised what's known as a crossover vehicle. Still go to the shops in it, very much like the Range Rover, but yet another model. So, now it says Ford on the front. Right, now I reckon it's a Discovery.
What year then? Go on.
I reckon, and I'll get that, 1991.
No, 97.
1997, so one of the very last Discoveries, and actually they just gave it away then. There's a bit of a fob on your keys, and if I'd have seen that, if I'd have seen that first, I'd have said it were a later one. And an interesting steering wheel there. Just have a look at the steering wheel when it's around the arena. Tell us a little bit about this vehicle.
The body is a 1948 F1. The running gear is a Disco, as you said. Got the diesel engine in it. Fits up a bit more, but I said the steering wheel all made. I don't think MOT will like it much, but
yeah, the steering wheel might have to go off the MOT. But great to see it, and there's 4 of you in there as well. That's a feat in itself. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a feat in itself. Well done, thank you. So I was saying earlier that Land Rover produced the Discovery, and what a wonderful vehicle it is and was. But if you didn't look after it, it did rot away. So the best thing to do is generally take the body off.
3.9 injection hybrid, built on a Range Rover chassis. Just one off-roading really, but it is on-road. That's an MOT exempt. Like I said, could do with a new roof. It's raining more than it is out there.
Excellent. So once again, this is a 3.9 V8 engine, this one. This is built on the Range Rover chassis. Is this the 100-inch? No. Right, so it's still 88, but it has been modified to accept the Range Rover 3.9 injection engine, and built from all sorts of different parts, hence why it says hybrid. A lot of people today know hybrids as things with electric motors in and a little petrol engine. It's run on gas, so it does have an LPG conversion, so it's a slight hybrid, petrol and LPG. Great to see it in here. Give it a bit of rart around the arena. Let's have a listen. So the second of our V8s now. Now this one usually comes with a little sister as well, following it around. It's broken again. Oh dear. So in the past, the little sister that follows it around usually gets around the arena, but it does have its fair share of breakdowns. Right, tell us a bit about this. What a lovely colour.
It's a 1967. It's a Series 2A, but it's got a Series 3 bulkhead, and it's got the 3.5 litre V8 engine in it.
So this one got a slightly smaller engine, but basically the one in the other vehicle that you just saw, it just had the cylinders made a little bit bigger and a little bit of fancy electronic gizmetry fitted on. This is nice and basic, as it should be in my eyes. Generally, if this goes wrong at the side of the road, you can get it going quite easily. Great to see it in the arena, and have a great day. So sticking with the V8s. Oh no, this isn't the V8 one. This is a TD5.
Yeah, the what?
Right then, so the Discovery 2, tell us a bit about this.
Well, this Discovery 2, I'm just about to go in the next 2 weeks to Spain and Portugal for 17 days.
Excellent, so a bit of an expedition planned, and as you can see, you've got the roof box on there. Are we camping and doing... That's a tent? Oh yeah, of course, they all fold out and looks all fancy. It's great to see it in here, because people who have these tents on, they're usually stationary for the weekend. So great to see it in the arena, all packed up there, ready for a good weekend. Great to see you, thank you. So that's the Discovery 2 now. They have to do something move with the times, so to speak, so they launched the Discovery 2. So the TD5, the Discovery 2, we had the baby blue one earlier on with the roof tent on the top. Are we okay to talk? So these ones were, quite a lot of people sticking them up G4. Don't know if this is an original G4. It's an original G4 challenge, so certainly ups its value. A lot of us may remember the old Camel Trophy Land Rover. Now that all stopped, smoking and all that lot, didn't really want to be associated with the unhealthy things. So they moved on to the G4 challenge, which basically they sent a load of Land Rovers. There is a little Series 1, the 86-inch, and Barry's fitted the tow bar on the front. Got quite a tight yard in Batley where he lives, so fitted the front tow bar on there just to nuzzle everything back into his yard when he gets back from the show. So we've got the military ambulance there, converted into a camper van, and the trusty little 90. I was gutted when I pulled that sticker off and all the paint came with it. It's on the to-do list. You have number 4,000 and something. So just going into the modified range now. 4 of them in there. You have to drive with the door open. So you got your brace of V8s, followed by the air portable, spotting a shiny new door.
Oh, the big cowboy, that's the big cowboy, that.
It's not pressing, it's
I haven't, no. But we're not together anymore. She has, though. Yeah, no, I've got a new one now. So, yeah, she's in my new one. She's in a blue Land Rover going around here. So, yeah. We're going to need more than 2 bins.
I went out of the Saturday for the first time since Christmas. Went up to cricket club and I had a bottle of non-alcoholic Reds. And I said to Kate, I thought, well, you know, we got Rex.
My job was to be able to trade up.
A minute.
Ali! Ali!
Concern about him yesterday. Putting him in his attic trailer. Just like every 18-year-old gets them in an attic trailer for the weekend. Many sense, didn't it? So I said, who's up first? Them all looked at each other. I think Johnny's going to... Johnny, who actually owns the tractor, he's going to go first. Now, it's a regular thing here at Ackworth, it's a reversing competition. If you would like to go and you have a full run. Around.
in the middle, and the two outside pedals are brakes. So we haven't quite got it set up properly yet when we push the clutch and the brake down, that it both happens at the same time. Eventually we will get it right, but basically we just got it cosmetically right to fetch it to the show, to show everybody what the old Ford Ferguson looks like. So just going to park it up, and then we'll move on to some of the other tractors. Now, believe it or not, Sam goes out contracting for Sheffield City Council with this vehicle. It was bought as a scrapper as part of a job lot from a big parts dealer in Huddersfield, and this came at the very bottom of the pile. Sam bought it, and he's treated it to some new tyres fetching it into the arena. So the iconic little grey Ferguson next. Now this is owned and operated by John of JJ Autos in Sheffield. This is the TE20, the little grey Fergie, petrol paraffin, or petrol TVO. TVO stands for tractor vaporized, and that's basically a cheap form of petrol based on paraffin. You start the tractor on a petrol, once it warms up, pop it onto TVO, and it'll run all day on very little. Now you'll see that a few of the tractors are still sporting and it's great to see it here. John was a huge fan of tractor pulling, and believe it or not, he'd go up to Pickering and Whitby and he'd stuff this on the tractor pull. And he'd be going down the runway there, waving his cowboy hat in the air and trying to slip the sled man £5 notes to give him a little bit of leeway for using such a beautiful tractor on the tractor pull. And all this excitement got a bit carried away one day, and he managed to crack the engine. So it has been in dry dock for a number of years now, and I believe this is the first time out at a show this season. So that's what the 990 that you saw first off with the front loader on it. That's what it should look like.
Thank you, Brad.
So we've already spoken a little bit about this one. This is the 6-cylinder Fordson Major. The engine's come out of a combine harvester. Quite a simple modification with these Fordsons. They were very versatile insofar as you could fit the engine from the combine went straight onto the bell housing with very little modification. Just have to lengthen those front seat section rails, fetch all the front axle forward. The main thing is sourcing another bonnet to weld in, because there's like 1.5 bonnets in there to make the engine accommodate the engine inside the chassis rails, and then put the bonnet over the top. Great to see here, capable of about 25 miles an hour, very powerful tractor. Once again, has been used on the tractor pulling in previous years too. Now David Brown, they did do wonderful things in devising the direct injection diesel engine. So this is actually quite from the 1970s, 1960s I think is this one, but it is direct injection, so they had a very good starting engine in the first place. Once again, great to see another tractor from the John Daniel collection here. Judging by that number plate, I'm going to say early 70s, 1971, 1972, but we're going to find out a little bit more about it. Right, tell us a bit about this Ford.
It's a 1973 Ford 3000. It started its life up in Scotland, first one last Sunday for the air ambulance.
Excellent. Now, yeah, I've mentioned this road a couple of times. It was actually from this showground, went all over the place. About 350 tractors did it, so a fair old run there. Caused absolute chaos on the local roads, but all for a good cause. Thank you for fetching it. So the Fergie 35, this is the grey gold, which was the intermediary between the little grey Ferguson and the red 35. Now this tractor looks like a road running tractor. So entering into the more horticultural groundkeeping sort of work now is a little Leyland 154. This did have miles an hour on the road. No? But still, no doubt it will be going on the road in a little bit. However, this one is a German one. Just tell us a quick little bit about this tractor. This one is a wise purchase here, and a beautiful tractor, quite rare as well. You don't see very many of these at the shows. Great to see it. The Fordson Dexter now, and as you can see it's got some strange cream brackets on the side. This is for a loader, but having a loader tractor on the road and at the shows can be a little bit cumbersome, so quite often the loader will be taken off for events like this. Wow, now we've got that big field to do over there when you've done in here. Needs another wheel. So sticking with the horticultural wheel, we've got the little ball. And I've got the brace of TE20. This is the diesel one. It's about 2 litre diesel engine. Generating just over 20 horsepower. And got the very, very desirable banana loader. No prizes for guessing why it's called a banana loader. With a banana loader on it. Not quite sure how they handle on the road, but them spikes are definitely in the right place right up there. And that's a muck fork, is that? So you drive into your muck, usually for filling your muck spreader up. So the Super Dexter, we've already had a Dexter in. That's got the loader brackets on it. Right, tell us a bit about this lovely little tractor.
It's a 1964 Fordson Super Dexter. I've had it for a couple of years now. Well, that's about it.
Excellent. And has it been roaded here today?
Yeah, I drove it up on Friday. Got caught in a bit of rain, but it's all
absolutely. And then these cabs that were fitted to these tractors, I used to have a cab on an old tractor, and to be honest, I would rather get wet than be deaf because they're so loud. Now the main question is here, you've got a Fordson tractor and you've got a Ferguson hat. Which is the favourite Mer? Oh, and John Deere overalls. Okay, you're clearly getting paid by all the manufacturers. Now last but certainly not least is a little farm all coat. Just take note of this one, it's all over to one side. And Richard, especially on a trailer from Dewsbury, usually behind his old Land Rover, which will be parked down there. Great little tractor this one, capable of around 10 miles an hour on the road. And as you can see, it's all over to one side. It's a fantastic idea, because the driver can see straight down and see what he's doing. You can fix your toolbar to there, so any scarifiers, mowers, etc. can go straight underneath and you can see exactly what's happening. So you're not turning around all the time. It will also do a day's work from the back end as well. So a wonderful versatile tractor. Quite underpowered, but mainly used for the market gardening side of things. Great to see here. Thank you, Richard. And as you can see, it's got the additional capstan on the back there, which is the pulley, so it can run. To our drivers for fetching them into the attending rallies, unless it is a trike rally. So basically, I think they're looking for a bit of a trike section. So it's certainly food for thought. The trike has been owned by the Knoxes since 2006, in which they have done their own modifications to it, owned and exhibited by Alan and Maureen Knox. So we have managed to squeeze them in to the miniature steam section. So here's a little Volkswagen trike. So it's great to see it in the arena. Road locomotive, and it was built in 2005 by the previous owner. It was bought by the present owner and renamed Lady D. Now, if you're wondering why we have these little miniature steam engines, there's quite a few conflicting stories, but most of them suggest that there were a few little original ones built to sell their larger counterparts. Obviously it was quite a feat oofing the great big ones around the place in hope of a sale. So they did make some of the smaller ones. So they were easily transported for the sales department to sell the larger ones. Whether that's true, not quite sure. I have yet to see an original miniature. Majority of these are built in kit form, and yes, even you as a member of the public can buy one of these in kit form. There's numerous companies around the country. I believe there's one quite locally as well in Castleford. Dougie waiting in the wings, ready to tell us all about the motorbike. However, jumping in, it was great to see Kevin with a little Wallace Stevens diesel roller doing a couple of laps of honour. And believe it or not, Kevin drives this little roller all over the place. The second engine there, Matoto, absolutely splendid in its appearance there, and that was built in 1917, so 102 years old is Matoto. That's the maroon engine. That's a Fowler steam tractor, and that hasn't come too far from home this weekend. It's come from near Selby, and you may recognise that because Michael Portaloo has had a ride on that on his train journeys, because it actually belongs to the gentleman who's sat at the top there driving it, and he's got all mod cons including a mobile phone up there, and he had Mr. Portaloo on that engine because he lives in the station house out towards Selby way, so there's a good connection with the railways. The old Fowler steam tractor there, still living on former railway property.
Yeah, they should. I'm hoping they come. Right, I'm going to have to do some talking about it. Alright.
Now the first steam locomotive, the Fowler, built in Leeds, so once again a local machine. We're so blessed to live up in the north of England where manufacturing these wonderful machines was quite commonplace. John Fowler was a great producer of steam engines. We're going to find out a little bit more about this one. Of things on the road, so going for an overtake there with Matoto.
Johnny's got Johnny to beat 4 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this nice, fine, sunny afternoon. Ackworth Scammell Gathering here at Ackworth. We'll have a little chat with the drivers when they've had a couple of laps round. Sort of interested here, whether the spud of these is off. Well, Steve Jurgen is doing it.
Neil, it's the next split back. Put your hands on that. Put your hands on that. Oh, he did great. Oh, lost it. Lost it. Where are you from? I'm from Boston. Oh, so you still got a handball, haven't you? Tell us a little bit about the bike.
And tell me about it.
Good.
It's on the 90, but basically it's a motorbike instead of a petrol.
Yeah, yeah. And you like it and you ride it quite often. You're dead reliable and everything. Yeah. Better than this weather.
Oh yeah.
Right, thank you for bringing it, Greg. I'll just see if we can find a different shelter somewhere. I think we'll have to tag it in, you know. Right, go! The weather's decent, eh? If we get it for these rains, next time we come to do the bike, we've got to start. Thank you very much, boys.
Thank you ever so much, Dougie, despite that.